wife went camping the last few days, and it was interesting because we have a camper and we have a bunch of tents, a lot of camping equipment, but it's funny because every once in a while she gets a urge just to head out with the kids. And so she just grabbed a tent and just a few things and went to the local state park and camped for 3 days. I was working, and she camped for a couple days, and then when I got off work, me and the other two, they were at camp, church camp, and when they got out of church camp, we came over to the camp for one night last night. So I guess what I found interesting is that every once in a while Melissa just feels like going out. You don't. The point is that you don't need a lot of stuff, I suppose. And we've got a lot of camping equipment, but she just likes to grab a tent, maybe a cooler with some food in it, and just go out. She doesn't bother because the camper can be a lot of work to pack up, get everything ready, and hook up and pull. It's a lot of times a lot of work just to get to the campground. Then you do your camping, and it's a lot of work to get home. So sometimes it's easy just to throw a few things in the vehicle, go, and you can still have just as good a time as if you're loaded for bear.
Layla, come here.
And I guess I just thought it was interesting that sometimes she likes to do that without me and just have a good time with some of the younger kids. And so I don't have much footage, but I might roll in a few pictures, or we had some experiences with the raccoons, which is pretty normal with a state campground. Other than that, it was a pretty good time. We're back at the farm, tending the garden, and
cats and the bees.
I did want to mention that our discussion lately is to actually get rid of our camping, because I don't do a lot of car camping anyway. We were going to talk about getting rid of the camper and getting a box trailer and keeping all of our camping equipment and everything we own pretty much in that box trailer. That way we can just hook up and go, and it would also double as a survival bug out trailer. So basically we would just keep everything in that, and it would be ready to go at a moment's notice, whether we're going camping or we're the balloon goes up and we're hitting the road long term. So that's in the works. We're talking about it, and because I don't like the whole camper. Like I said, we own a camper, but I don't even enjoy that type of camping anyway. I'm more a primitive style. If I go to a campground, we can throw a couple tents up and have just as good a time as if we have this big outlandish camper. So anyway, that's it. That's all I want to say. See ya. I absolutely love this tent. This is one of my favorite tents that I've ever owned. I think it might be a Target brand, real cheap. Well, I say real cheap. It was a cheap tent, but it was probably my favorite tent. Many backpacking trips this tent has been on. Once you set it up, you can move it around. You can move it around anywhere you want. Only reason I stopped using it, well, I didn't really stop using it, but I put it in the backup mode, is just because it was a little heavier than Well, it's quite a bit heavier than I wanted, but it's a really fast setup. It doesn't take any time to set it up, and it's just been a really good tent for a cheap. I don't even know what brand it is. I have no idea what brand. I'll have to look around and see if it says on it somewhere, but I've had that tent probably 15 years, 20 years, and it just works. Never had any trouble with it. Keep it seam sealed. Through the years, while I was using it anyway, I would keep the seams on it sealed, and no complaints. Great tent. Wish I knew what brand it was. Can't remember.
Look at it popping, guys. Are you missing it? See it?
I'm not missing it. Don't eat it because it's wild.
Just spent a little time in the garden. We've got what here for supper tonight?
Some lettuce and kale.
Lettuce and kale,
A bunch of okra on the bottom.
okra. There's some taters down there.
A few peppers. Not many potatoes because they're not really ready.
Taters weren't really ready, but we've got or the peppers.
Bell peppers aren't ready, but we picked one anyway. Went ahead and picked a bunch of our onions because they were just overgrown. But they still are gonna be yum.
Here, I'll put them back here, okay?
All the cucumbers, tomatoes. Next week we should have a good round of tomatoes. Probably all the rest of them will be ready. 'Cause they're,
So what are we eating for supper tonight? Gonna do that
gosh,
kale?
we definitely need to do the lettuce and kale. Have a salad with some onions in it, and cucumbers, and tomatoes. Minus yours.
Okay.
And these-
There's the babysitters that didn't work in the garden, that watched the babies, that injured the babies because they weren't watching them how they were supposed to be.
No,
But,
the
hey,
kids pushed them out.
yeah.
Layla.
Okay.
Anyway, we won't talk about that on video. Let's move on. Get her whole body too. The results of our work in the garden today: a fresh garden salad and some gumbo. What is that stuff called?
Garlic chicken.
Garlic chicken something or another. Looks good. What is that?
Watermelon.
Some watermelon.